Welcome to the No Frills YouTube channel. I'm making this video to talk about the Crossfire Pro. There's a number of reviews out there, and I'm just going to hit some spots that might be beneficial. If you're into the unboxing or the assembly, there's a guy named Dave from NTD Racing. I'll link that in the description, but he does a really good job going through that, those aspects, unboxing and assembly. And he also goes through a 2D CAD design and a 3D CAD design, which was really helpful for me. So thanks, Dave. I'm just going to talk about, kind of like a few issues that I went through. One was I recommend reading the entire set of instructions the day before, the night before you decide to assemble it, and then go through the instructions step by step. A couple mistakes I made was I put these backwards and had to backtrack these plates and these top pieces, but it was laid out. It was just one of those scenarios where I was following it step by step, and in retrospect I should have just read the whole thing, because there's some things they said afterwards that I picked up on. Other than that, if I come across any mistakes, other mistakes, I'll mention it. I've only done a couple things on there so far, some small things, and then I made all the parts for this out of one piece of metal, and it worked pretty well. I would say that I'm still trying to work out the speed, so you set kind of the speed of your plasma cutter, and the thickness, based on the thickness, and then if it's going too slow, then you're going to get a lot of this slag stuff here. If it's going too fast, it may not cut through. The plasma cutter documentation gives you a good bit of information on that. And then there's also a table out there in an Excel format where on the Langmuir forums, and I pulled that up, and it had values for 1/4 inch, various types of metal, various types of steel, like stainless steel or aluminum, and so there were some values for that. That was very helpful. Support-wise, same thing. It's really good. This gantry here has a subtle ding or bend in it, and when the Z-axis would come across, it would kind of dip. And I called them, or I sent them an email, and I ended up getting a email back with a notice of another one being shipped. I haven't put it on yet, but the support's really good. In retrospect, I probably wouldn't have bought the laptop stand, but it is convenient. I'm on the fence about that. For any types of complaints, I would say that I would like a one-piece tray, but I get it. I did see a couple other guys complained about it leaking. I haven't had any leaks yet, but from what I gathered, one of them kind of indicated that when the plasma cutter comes across, that this seal that you put in here when you assemble them gets hot and weakens, and that's where you get your leaks from, is this mated seal that you put together. So I took a piece of 2x2 iron angle, and I just kind of set it over the seam, so that when the plasma cutters, it's got some sort of defense mechanism there, a protective barrier. With regards to the slats here, I think, and this is for Langmuir itself, if you were to kind of omit these, because my take is if you work in steel, you'll either can get this and cut it, but that would save maybe some weight on cost and overall weight. Maybe you can get a couple $100 off of it for their time for making these, because or I see the value in having a set it up and start working. But I'd be okay with that if you just kind of left these out. The other thing was the angle that they go in before you go putting these on here. Go ahead and make sure that they all fit. I had a couple that weren't quite wide enough, so I had to grind them out so that it would fit. But other than that, yeah, I don't want to jinx myself, but it's actually pretty cool. I'll put a video up of it cutting out this actually, and draining it. There's a number of ways people were doing it with buckets and hoses and all this. I found out that I just kind of put some gloves on and take off this nut and pull this out, and I just drain it right from there into buckets. And then I put it on. I've got a very uneven floor in here. It's really old concrete, and so there's no flat spots. But I needed it to be mobile. The casters that kind of adjust up and down, and those don't really work all that well. I wanted something a little bit more stable, because while you're pushing the table, I didn't want it to hit the caster and bend the leg. So I built a separate cart for it. And I still got to adhere the legs to here. It's just sitting on there, but it's I kind of put a level over it and roll it to a place where I can get it level, and then I lock my casters. I lock all four. And on top of it, when I fill up the buckets, which you'll fill up, buckets will get pretty full, get heavy. I can roll it out of the way. And then the most important thing was to have the plasma cutter attached to it, so that I didn't have to deal with this extra piece of equipment to move around. And so I just plug in my hose and my power and fill it with water and go. And I do drain it at night, or drain it after every completion. I think that's it for now. If I come up with anything else, I'll add to it. I do have some other videos that I had taken that I'll probably link in here. But overall, it seems to be working pretty well. So that's it.